Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style.
And I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe. And in this video we're going to be talking about a topic we've been asked to share our thoughts on regarding that delicate tightrope and how you balance on that delicate tightrope between age and staying classy, and how you can inject things into your wardrobe when so much of the stores seem to be oriented to a youth market, and other things that you can do to get that tightrope right for you.
I think it's really important to think about what are the things that we want to become as we become older. And one of the things that I think that as we get more mature, it's much easier to be sophisticated. Sophistication isn't for the young, it's for the older, the more mature person. And so it's how do you add that sophistication in? What are the elements of sophistication? So we might think about what are the fabrics. We might want to look for more refined fabrics, higher quality fabrics. We also want our wardrobes to last for longer. So therefore going for a high quality fabric, spending a bit more on something that will last for longer is a totally good thing to do, I think. So there's that kind of developing that and thinking about too that, and I always look at something and think, if my daughter would wear it, it's probably not for me. And that's always a good little test. So, or if I would associate that element with someone young, so frills, especially in a little girl frilly way, not for me. Or little floral patterns, which on someone young can look great, but as you get older it just looks like you're wearing something that you've had for a long time.
And I think that when I see onesies, I think I love onesies, and I think that they're really best under a nappy on somebody who's being pushed in a thing. Now, if you're wearing a onesie, I don't mean to be offensive, but a onesie to me is an outfit that was designed for a child.
Yes. So it's thinking about kind of what's something we associate with small children, and therefore maybe those elements aren't the right elements to look for. Looking for more refined fabrics. And then I think too, particularly with prints, we want to go more stylised print. Now, I mean, a leopard print's generally less stylised, but it's still a stylised print in a way. But it's also not something we ever see on children. It is more naturally an older print versus florals you will see on children, and those sorts of things. So different sort of patterns as well, I think. And then it's also kind of in many ways, when women worry about mutton dressed as lamb, as we call it in Australia, and I know the UK does that as well, where it feels like, so mutton is the old sheep dressed as the young sheep. It's therefore going, okay, well, what are those elements? And in many ways I see it as either head to toe, the latest fashion for the sake of latest fashion, rather than working with your body. And I think especially as we get older, most of us are already going, I want to find the things that flatter my body because they make me feel better. So head to toe the latest fashion, or a lot of skin showing. Now, most of us as we get older like to show a bit less skin because it's maybe not quite as tight as it used to be, and it just doesn't feel classy in the same way.
Absolutely. There's a wonderful book called The Art of Dress, and Imogen might link to it. I did a review of it, and in it the author talks about the style trajectory from girl to early womanhood to more mature womanhood, and that in eras past that there were certain styles that young girls were not exactly forbidden to wear, but that clothing was not made in those styles for younger women. It was something that only when you were 35, 40, 45 were those styles really available to you as a woman, and it was almost like a rite of passage into womanhood and claiming that sense of yourself as a woman who has a sense of maturity, who has elegance, and who can claim classiness on her own terms. And that really made a huge impact on me, that thought that it's a rite of passage, and my role as a woman goes through these various stages, and I should celebrate those stages rather than trying to hang on to youth. That youth was fabulous, and those chapters get closed behind us and new, exciting, interesting chapters open up ahead of us, and that's something to be celebrated and to look forward to.
Absolutely. And I think too there's an element there where as we get older we become more sure of ourselves.
Yeah.
And this is where we can be a little bit more dramatic. We're maybe not about pretty in the way that we might have been when we were younger.
Yeah.
And so we can add more maybe stylized or more dramatic elements of being a little bolder. We should feel a little more sure of ourselves in a way.
Yes.
And it says, I've got a confidence.
Yes.
That I didn't have necessarily when I was younger.
And that can be just as, if not more, attractive and appealing than a pretty young woman. And I think that's what's so exciting for me as the years tick by, is what new discoveries can I make, and what ways can I express the me that I am and that I'm becoming in a way that gets that balance right for me, because we are all on that delicate tightrope of balancing the years passing by with being whatever it is, whether it is classy or elegant or whatever. It might be more dramatic, it might be more powerful,
or more creative, like
Yeah.
embracing you. And I think when you're expressing yourself, your authentic, self in your dress and your personal expression in that way, that's when it's going to look great.
Oh yeah, and it won't look like a costume or you wearing somebody else's clothes, because it's an expression of who you really are, and that cannot be copied.